It's a video that's gone viral several times. A trans woman says men love trans women and then goes on to talk about how, this trans woman has met a bunch of guys before who just can't get enough. And it brings up interesting questions and the philosophies around gender ideology, in which you have leftists who argue that a straight man could date a trans woman. Well, I suppose technically you could, but the point is, they're saying, people have responded to this video saying that I know straight guys who date trans women. And I'm like, no, those are gay guys. And this trans woman talking about how guys just can't get enough. It's like, yes, those are gay guys. And it really is quite simple to break down. And I won't bury the lead because I know there's going to be a bunch of leftists making comments on this. But the point is simply this. If the argument is you were attracted to the appearance of an individual as feminine or masculine, that would mean, as Lance from the Surfs on Timcast IRL argued, that a biological man can, imagine a 45-year-old construction worker with a beer belly, and his wife is also a 45-year-old construction worker with a beer belly who's fairly strong and masculine because she works construction too. The argument is they're gay because the woman looks manly. No, it's a woman and they're attracted to each other and they have a family and have kids. Women are allowed to look manly. Men are allowed to look feminine. It doesn't mean you're gay or straight. It's the weirdest argument that it's like, if you want to simultaneously argue that a straight man, like imagine like a 27-year-old guy with like a beard is dating a trans woman, you're like, that's straight. It's like, yeah, but they're two males. It's homosexual. It is same-sex relationship, not gender. No one ever said it was same gender. You make a different word for it, I guess. But that argument would follow that you have a guy, so you have two gay guys, and one gay guy is very effeminate, and so like that's straight couple. It's like, no, those are two guys who identify as gay and are male. You see where this goes? Let me play this video for you, and then we'll break it down, and we'll talk about the comments on the video. Here we go.
So real, and I do not care. The attraction to trans women is so real, and I do not care what the media tells you. I don't care what the comments say. At the end of the day, living experience. There is, however, this weird phenomenon, though, of being the first trans woman that a guy has ever been with, because I'm telling you right now, there comes some weird obsession. Like you almost become this objectified mythical creature that they cannot get the experiences they have with you with anybody else. No matter how many women they go and they sleep with or they date or they whatever the case may be, they always run back to you because the feeling that you give them is something that nobody else can because you are letting them be authentically them. The attraction to trans women is so real, and I do not care what the media tells you. I don't care what the comments say. At the end of the day,
there's a few things to break down in this. The first is main character complex, or whatever you want to call it. This trans person, by all means, they can live their life, they can do whatever they want. But they're saying like, wow, the attraction that I experienced, it's so real. Yes, you've encountered people, and it's a selection bias, who are attracted to you. I'm happy for you. I think that's nice. You be happy, you live your life and all that. But imagine if I said something like, dude, women love me. Like, I go out all the time and I got women talking to me. And it's like, well, yes, but there's 327 million people in this country. Half of them are women and a microscopic portion of them might want to talk to me. You know what I mean? So to make a blanket statement where it's like, wow, women really love dudes. Well, yeah, sure. There are people who like guys, people who like girls. And so for this trans person, you find yourself in an environment where there are guys who are into you because they are homosexual. And I'm not saying it to be mean. It's the weirdest thing. The left gets so mad about this. They're like, shut up. Don't you say that. I'm like, why are you so mad about being called gay? Like, you're dating a trans person. Like, you're in the LGBT community, man. Like, what are you mad about? They get really offended by it. So look, this trans person says, wow, guys really like me. Well, yeah, you met guys who like you. Like, that's great. I'm glad. And then you're like, but man, they keep coming back for more no matter how many women they're with. Yeah, they're called gay guys. There are a lot of guys who don't know they're gay and then come to realize they're gay and then want to be in gay relationships. This is like an actual fairly common story for a lot of people, men and women who are gay. Like a guy, there's tons of stories of guys, like there's even trans stories, but there's tons of stories of like men and women who got married and the woman later is like, you know what? I'm gay the whole time. And then they get a divorce. And then there's same thing with men. Like the dad eventually is like, I'm just not into it. And then the guy ends up getting a divorce from his wife. Yeah, because they didn't realize, they didn't know. So this story she's telling is basically that she meets a guy. The guy realizes he's into males, effeminate males, but males nonetheless. And then they're just like, I would prefer this over that. Well, yeah, you met a gay guy. So it's like the weirdest thing that people take this approach where they're like, no, they're straight. So someone responded to my post saying, I know 2 straight dudes with hot trans women. As said in the hot, crazy Matrix, they're unicorns. Okay, I'm sorry, no. Like, that is just wrong. They're not straight. You cannot call a guy who is dating a male, like 2 males together, cis heteronormative, to use the left's nomenclature. Imagine a, quote, woman who actually does dress up, is fun and sweet and never nags, loves giving head. Uh-oh, not so family friendly. I know impossible yet. No, I'm sorry. The gay guys, okay? You're allowed to be gay. I got no problem if you're gay. Please be happy and live your life. But this is just, you're not a straight guy, okay? So this is where we end up with this whole argument. You've got a guy, and he decides to be in a relationship with another male, but that male looks to a varying degree feminine. The argument then becomes, how many grains of sand make a heap in order to be a woman? So, my family opened a coffee shop on North Halsted in Chicago, and it's called Boys Town. And there are small, effeminate gay guys who look feminine, and if they put on a wig or whatever, you might confuse them for a woman. And they're dating big, burly, masculine dudes in leather. And you call one a twink and one a bear. That's like been a thing for a long time. That's what they say in Chicago. I don't know if this terminology still applies. I have no idea. But imagine by today's standards, because this is what happened. We had Lance from the Surfs on the show. He's like, they're straight. I'm like, what? It's 2 guys. It's two men. No, they're straight because the one guy looks female. Like, oh, dude, come on. And one of my favorite moments ever was when I was like, so if there's like a guy and he's dating a woman who's very masculine and like manly looking, that's gay? And he's like, yes. And then Ian was like, that's not cool, man. You can't call someone gay because his girlfriend is ugly. And it's like, you can't. Dude, it's so wild to me that YouTube allows that kind of stuff where it's like, imagine the insult of going up to a guy and his girlfriend and the girl is masculine and then you're like, are you gay? Like, what? Because your girlfriend looks like a guy. Like, it's so mean to the girl. And it's just an insult to the guy. And like, that's allowed on social media. That's non-offensive. Dude, come on. It's also like the abortion argument. I love this where it's like, the left argues that, abortion should be allowed and all that stuff. And I'm not sitting here arguing against it. I'm not pro-life. I'm definitely not with the left versions of pro-choices. But there's like, imagine if there's so many things you can do that break the leftist ideology or the cult-like behavior is. You can say something like, I hope you get an abortion, or have you talked to your doctor about whether abortion is right for you? And you're basically saying like, I don't want you to have kids. That's an insult. And then there's also do you think Lizzo is beautiful? And they go, yes, of course. Well, you look like her. And then they get mad and they cry. There was one viral post where a guy said that he told some girl she looked like Dylan Mulvaney and the girl started crying. He was like, I know this liberal chick in my college always talking about like these issues and stuff. And I complimented her by saying she looked like Dylan Mulvaney and she began to cry. It's like, yeah, because they don't actually believe anything they say. Look, words matter. And we're trying to understand the world. And I don't care if you're gay, straight, bi, up, down, left, right, Muslim, Christian, Jewish, whatever, man. But there's a simple reality. You cannot have a male who gets plastic surgery and then claim it is heterosexual because heterosexual means different sexes and homosexual means same sex. All right. All right. This has been a very important message for everybody. But think about the end result, as I already mentioned, right? If this is the worldview these people have, there is no logically consistent cis or whatever. So we've actually seen this where there was a funny video where a guy is holding up a sign or something and it says like, I don't know, something about abortion or whatever. And then some woman is like, why do you think you have a right a man has a right to tell a woman what to do. And he's like, did you just assume my gender? And then she was like, yeah, their ideology breaks themselves. So now you've got the only existing argument is that they're trying to eliminate the concept of gender segregation as it is. But then there's no such thing as trans. Like, if anything and anyone is a woman, there's like a video of a guy who's got a beard wearing a dress, and he just looks like a dude in a dress. And he's like, I'm changing what it means to be a woman because gender stereotypes are wrong. And all these women are like, yay, and they're clapping. It's like, okay. So then there is no man and there is no woman. So there's no protections for women. But then they're like, yeah, but you can be trans. Okay. So this person right here, let's operate into that argument. There is no right or wrong way to be a woman. Okay, that's a guy. That's it. If you say that the social norms surrounding gender are fake, made up, and do not determine whether you're male or female or a man or a woman, then this right here is a male putting on stereotypical female affectations, in which case I'd argue there's no right or wrong way to be a guy. So I would assume that's a guy, right? You can't have it every direction, okay? And if there's no logical consistency, then you don't have nothing. But thank you for coming to this silly PSA. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up at 8 p.m. Over at youtube.com/TimcastIRL. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.